We are live and
So, good morning, everybody. So, we have been discussing Yoga Vasistham. We written by Valmiki. Just a brief couple of minutes. What we have discussed so far. It's written by Valmiki. Valmiki wrote Akhanda Ramayana, which is consists of two parts. One is Purva Ramayanam and then Uttar Ramayanam. Purva Ramayanam with the 7 kandas and Uttar Ramayanam with the 6 prakaranas. So in which Yoga Vasistham is part of the Uttar Ramayana, and he discusses about the parts related to the Brahma Jnana. So Purva Ramayanam is more about he says it is Kathopayam. Uttar Ramayanam is Mokshopayam. So to be able to get Brahma Jnana, he says certain qualities are required. So he says the main being the open-minded and be ability. You should have understood that you are not body. There is something inside your body, which is you are not the body in the sense, and you are kind of in the body for a time period. And Agastya starts he was answering one of the questions from disciple, and then as part of it, there is a story of we talked about father and sons discussing about Nivritti Marga, Pravritti Marga, and we also talked about the his father's answer. As part of it, he brought up the Rishtanimis question, and his refusal to go to Swarga, and based on that, Indra sent Arishthanemi to sage Valmiki so that he can provide guidance to him. So Valmiki started started asking the questions to Arishthanemi, saying, "What do you want?" Arishthanemi said he wanted to know, "What do I need to know to get out of this samsara?" And he said that you have to read and understand Ramayana, both Purva Ramayana as well as Uttar Ramayana. So if you understand, if you read and understand these two, you are on the path of moksha. So and then he started talking about Rama. So explained he completed his education, came back and visited different places, and came back. Then he basically is looked like he's not interested in anything. So we talked about his father contacting Vasistha to talk about why um, his son Rama is not like before. So Vasistha said, "Don't worry about it. He must be thinking about something. We just need to answer his questions. Then he'll be fine. He's not in the depression." So he's not the kind of person who goes into the depression. That's what he says. And then he talks about then Vishwamitra comes and he asks Rama for yajna action. Dasharatha says no. Then Vasistha intervenes and explains that it is for the benefit of Rama. You should send Rama with Vishwamitra, and while under the protection of Vishwamitra, nothing is going to happen. Okay, and then that's when Rama, they ask the question to Rama, why are you so dull? Looks like you're not talking much. So do you have any questions we can answer? So Rama starts talking about different things. So he starts with the explanation. I've been to different places, talked to different people. Over a period of time, I realized that people are born, and then they're running after the money. Then basically the whole life is about earning the money, saving the money, and spending the money, and then they don't realize he gets into the life discussion. So life is a, I mean, we don't know when we are going to, when anybody is going to die. So they think that life is, they live as if life is there forever. So, and then he starts getting into the ego aspect of a human being. He We associate ourselves with um, different things, and then based on that we have emotions, and then that leads to dukkham, and because of that we it our actual good qualities, what we have, what we already possess, are hidden. So ego destroys the good qualities of the person. So and he says, I don't want to be in any of I don't want anything. I don't want to be associated with anything. And then he gets into the aspect of mind, as we discussed yesterday. He's like, it's like he compares mind with the stray dog, which goes from one one aspect to another aspect. And but even if it does not get food, just like stray dog, it gets beatings. The next day, it does the same thing. So, and then he gets into the desire aspects of it. So he explains that desires are the, what do you call, it's like monkeys. So one desire, and then moves on. We move from one desire to other desire, and move from there. So we don't. It will never be. We will never be able to stop if we are not conscious. So then he gets into the body aspects of it. He talks about childhood, but he says body is like a temple with God inside. So he describes childhood. He describes young on childhood with he being with fear, not knowing anything, not knowing what to eat, um, how to speak, and then once we are young, all the sinful tendencies, kamam, krodham, attractions, temporary happiness. He basically says that the then we don't find anybody, not even one person in 1 crore. That's what the says, who does not get distracted by these things. Then he says, oh, talks about old age, where you're suffering because you have no control over your what to eat, what not to eat. You have not practiced enough during your young age. So when you become old, you want to eat, but your body does not uh, allow you to eat. Or you want to do something, but your body does not allow you to do something. So you are limited by the body at that point. But since you have not practiced enough during your young age, it becomes really difficult because your emotions or your tendencies are to do it, but you cannot do it. And then he gets into the column. That's where we stopped yesterday. And then, as part of the uh, column, we are it's a time basically. So the time basically he explains the time as God. So time is the one which basically decides. And he coined two words: time and column and niyati. So he says they are like wife and husband. So time is God, and it uh, and niyati is what it decides what, when, and how everything happens in life. So he gives the example of a seed. So the when the seed For example, we do 1 year, 1 season, we do um, uh, agriculture, or we plant some seeds, we plant some, and then at the end of yeah, the season, we might remove all the remaining plants because it's a fall. And when the spring comes, there might be some seeds which have fallen. You might you might have forgotten about it, but when the appropriate time comes, it germinates again. So niyati is like that. And time is one way where it has no form, obviously. So, but it gives the results of the karmas of the individuals over through niyati. Okay. So, whether, how great a person is, um, how much the person has earned, or whatever the capabilities the person has, everybody has to fall down during in this time. Okay. So that's basically, he explains a little bit more about time, and those who understands the time, those who know that these aspects, then the person knows that this world is mithya or maya. When you say maya, it does not mean that it does not exist. Um, it is just that it is not real. It appears like it existing, but that's a reality. But the person who understands time, he understands that and knows that this is all going to be temporary. Okay, so and then the time changes pretty fast. The 1 minute you have the whole, um, it, let's say there is a festival kind of atmosphere. The next minute there's a supreme extreme destruction. So the, within the span of short time, things, and everything is uncertain. We have to see. What this is basically what Rama is saying. What he's saying is, I see that everything is uncertain, and I do not have any interest in anything in this world. So he has, based on his observation, these are the things he has observed during his visiting to the kingdom and different places at that point when he lived. Knowing all this as mithya, um, this is basically, these are the questions. Now he has concluded everything. At this point, he had talked about everything he has observed, and then he is coming back to the questions. So this whole thing is 18 chapters. So, and he has gone a lot deeper into the each of the aspect what we talked about. We are kind of getting trying to get to the theme of it, what he um, described. So then he is coming to the questions now. So knowing all this um, as mithya or maya, can I get out of samsara? So he gives an example of a ocean. So if I'm in the ocean, how can I not get wet? So if I am in this samsara and doing all these karmas, how can I be without ragam and dvesham? Because every time you do karma, it seems like we are associated, ragam and dvesham, natural things that follow the karma, and which ultimately leads to dukkham. How can I stay in happiness by performing karmas in the life? Basically, it's a continuation from his questions. Rama became once he basically, these are the key questions. How can I do? How can I be in this samsara without getting attached to anything? So he wants to do karmas, but does not want to get attached. So he asks these questions and then he became silent. So once the questions are done, when Rama became silent, the whole um, sabha, when I say sabha, the whole uh, place where everybody they are sitting, it's in the king's palace, right? So he is sitting with Dasharatha is sitting with Vasistha, Vishwamitra, and there are a lot more people who are in the same in that place. So the whole everybody was listening to what Rama was saying so far, and the whole sabha was silent for some time because they are digesting what he was talking about it, because he was asking the questions, but he was actually giving the jnana as well through the questions. So Vashishta and Vishwamitra at that point, they basically were the first one to speak. So and they kind of at that point they say for this particular occasion, um, pretty much anybody, any of the jnanis, you can call them, or you can call them devatas. So they were actually um, came. They knew something was like this was happening here, and then everybody came and they were listening to this conversation at the time. And Vashishta and Vishwamitra, they basically said that there is nobody like Rama who can speak like him in the whole world, um, in the past or future. So there is nothing you don't know. You already know it. So, and but only thing, because you have asked us, we will answer your question. But it's not that you don't know. And they gave the example of a like you know clearly, and you have enough jnana to understand, or enough wisdom to understand what we are going to say. Uh, and because it requires sukshma buddhi to understand the answers to this question, and you have that, and all we are doing is just clearing the dust so that you can see yourself in the mirror. And they kind of said that there is a person called Sukha Maharshi. He is son of Vyasa. So they explained. I mean, you are like him. He had similar questions, and then Rama immediately asked, um, "Can you explain more about Sukha Maharshi?" Okay, and then they continued answering that question and explaining about Sukha Maharshi. So we can stop here at this point, and we can get into the meditation. Uh, so I will share the music at this point. So cross your legs if you are sitting in the chair. Clasp your fingers and close your eyes. Keep the glasses aside. And focus on the breath. So let's start the music.